Hey guys! Today I wanted to take a bit of a break from Hearthstone to show you a really fun early access game that I picked up yesterday called They Are Billions. This is a post-apocalyptic real-time strategy / tower defense game made by Numantian Games, where you have to try to build up a colony and defenses to fend off endless zombie hordes, and you'll see tons of enemies on screen. It's actually really cool. In its current state, the game only features a survival mode, but there will be a single-player campaign as well at release, so if you're worried about there not being enough content, it's probably still worthwhile just because of the challenge level, which we'll talk about in a second, and the fact that they'll be adding in a whole nother mode. Before we jump in here, a quick warning. This is an extremely difficult game. I've played it for about 6 hours so far and have yet to win a match on the easy settings, which you'll see in a second here. So if the game is something that interests you, just be aware this is not easy. It's going to be a very challenging game. With all that said, let's go ahead and start a new survival game here. And I've just been naming them all random stuff so far, but for us, let's just call this checking it out. And say okay. Now here we can choose our sort of parameters for the match. There's 4 maps in the game so far. However, in order to unlock each map, you have to beat the previous map with a score factor of at least 20%. And score factor is basically like a difficulty rating. The way that this works, we're going to start on the Dark Moorland, which is it's the terrain that is as intricate, or very intricate, that forms small gorges and plains with rivers and pools. It's very nice because you can use them as natural barriers, because the undead trees never fall down, so the undead can't break through them. Water can't be crossed, so it makes it really nice when you don't have to wall off your entire base. The infected population, this is going to determine how many total infected come over the entire length of the match. Basically, the higher the number is, the more infected will come at a time, because they sort of come in waves. Basically, we need to survive based on the game duration here, and the threat during that time will be determined by the infected population. So I was trying to do accessible last night, which is what I'll do for you guys too, just because the games do go a bit long. And we'll start with easy. So we're going to do easy accessible. That's a 22% score factor. If I happen to win, we can unlock the next map, the Peaceful Lowlands, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. This game is very hard, and I have not gotten past about the 75th day at this difficulty. That said, let's go ahead and jump in here. I just want to mention, so game duration, the way it works is the lower the duration, the higher the difficulty, because the infected population stays the same regardless. So let's say you have an infected population of 2,000 enemies are going to come at you over the course of the game. If you set it to 150 days, they're going to be spread out more, whereas if you set it to 100 days, they're going to come in a much more concentrated time frame. That said, I think that's explanation all done. Let's go ahead and jump in and see what kind of random map we get generated. Lucifer. Holy goodness. Yeah, there's still a lot of units I've yet to discover too, because of the way that tiers of technology kind of work in this game. Okay, so these are our dudes. You'll see it's very RTS-y. Starting out, we got control groups and everything. What we're going to do is use our very first 20 lumber to try and get started on building. You can do colonists. I prefer to start out with some food if I can. And you're going to notice I'm going to be placing a lot of our resources on far extremes of where they can be placed, regardless of their production rates, because you can't have overlapping fields of resource collection. So like if I put another fishery down, it has to be like over here or so that there's going to be a green bubble when this finishes that shows where it's harvesting. For now, we're going to take our rangers down here. They are super fast. They're great for scouting. It's very much worth looking around and seeing sort of what kind of base design you're going to be working with, because your base will be spreading out really fast. Okay, here's our first group of infected. As you can see, they're super slow. They're not a huge threat unless you start getting some of the faster zombies, but there's tons of them. I mean, you can see the fog of war is obscuring it, but there's a huge little colony back here. Yes, a huge little colony, I said it. Alright, let's jump back to base, make sure we're still producing stuff. Now that we have some food production, we're going to start working on some housing. Just plop these guys down here. I've found that with housing, so this is a game that has like no tutorial whatsoever. That's why I'm kind of doing these videos, is I wished that I had had some clearer explanation of sort of the basics of the game. What I'm going to be doing with buildings is placing them down in rows of 2, and that is because all buildings have to be accessible, and just the way that the game's AI or the game's programmed, they cannot be stacked more than 2 deep. Like if you have a house that's surrounded by 9 houses on all sides, then it's not going to work because nobody can get in or out. So rows of 2 seems to be the most efficient way that I've found for laying it out, which can be a bit of a problem actually, because space management is really the name of the game here, more so than anything else. Okay, let's jump back here. We've got our 4 houses up. We've got some food production. Now we're going to do probably the most important resource production, the sawmill. So the sawmill here is going to gather trees, or gather lumber. And what's great about the sawmill is it doesn't actually clear out the trees. And since the infected can't cross over them, this is just a barrier. I don't have to worry about walling this off. Zombies will never come through this part of the base, at least. They can still come down here, but this will be easy to wall off. I can kind of see already where our base is going to be. Wall off here. Actually, let's check. This may be a natural barrier, or it may be a... Nah, this is going to need to be another wall off. Let's see. Oh, actually, though, this will be a double wall off, a much easier place to defend. I'll probably do one here and then one up at the end of this little fork. Okay, looks like we got more infected up here. Okay, so this is an infected town. You gotta be really careful of these. When you shoot the buildings, huge numbers of infected spawn out of them. I'm gonna just kind of let these guys chill up here and clear away as many of these infected as possible for later. But yeah, let's hope they don't go anywhere near those houses, because while they do have really good resources in them, which is why we're scouting around, we do not want to mess with them till we have like 20 rangers deep or so. Okay, back to building. Got to keep it moving because we do have resource caps, which we'll run into a lot later on. We need a quarry now. This down here is stone. The way stone works is based on how you first place this. It's going to harvest based on that green bubble around it. However, we need to extend our electricity here. So I'm going to go ahead and plop down a Tesla tower, which will expand the wireless range of our electricity we're producing. And then we can put down the building over on this side, because you can see when I was placing it, this yellow here, this grid, that is where I can place buildings right now. That's the electrical influence. And I want to put it on this side, which I couldn't do. All right, cleared through those infected decently. Oh, this is a nice little pocket here. Unfortunately, I highly doubt the base will ever expand this far out. Well, actually, now that I say that, does this connect right down? Ooh, that's pretty nice. Okay, so I can already see where this base is going to be going. So we will be starting with a wall in some obvious places, but later on we're going to be able to expand out. Okay, we're kind of done exploring for a little bit here while I do some building. So now we need to ramp up our resource production as much as possible. So you can see here, can't place these because there's another building getting resources from the same area. This is why I'm putting them kind of spaced out as much as possible, because I want to have the maximum number of fisheries here, regardless of if one gets an extra 1 or 2 fish than the next. Because having 2 of them is always going to be better than one that gets, like, 1 getting 16 isn't as good as 2 getting 11, you know? So, alright. I do want to do a bit more scouting with the rangers, but I'm not going to be paying as close of attention because there are resources that are just laying around loose from, like, destroyed buildings and stuff like that. But we're not going to be needing those too early on. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Okay, so you do have to be careful about micro because, holy crap, that's a lot of them. Because your dudes will just stand there and keep shooting. And if I right-click move like I did, you can end up in the middle of a horde. You should really attack move. You can hit A and then click. That will cause them to attack anyone who's within range, but then when they run out of targets in range, they'll move forward, continue forward. So if they had hit this horde, they would have started shooting from maximum range and then slowly moved up as necessary. We gotta kind of kite these infected. We do really good damage against them, but there's just so many. Okay, back to building, sorry. So what we really want to focus on getting here is the wood workshop as soon as possible, because that's going to unlock our building upgrades. So we're going to put down a couple more cottages here. This is fine, putting 2 more here, because you can see there's still a little gap in the back, so everyone can get around them. But this is going to be the end of this little neighborhood, quote-unquote, of houses. We'll let these tents build, and then we'll see. Hopefully we didn't now use up too much electricity for the sawmill. That can happen, because it's kind of a very delicate balancing act with this game. Yes, wood workshop. Okay, so this thing is freaking huge, so we want to kind of put it somewhere that it's not going to be in too much of the way. Preferably on this kind of barren looking ground over here, although this could be a great area for a neighborhood. So I think I'm actually going to plop it down up here. There's not a whole lot of real estate that's super high priority up here. And if I do this, oh wait, is it going to let me? It's too close to other buildings. Over here. Okay, I can do it right here. Plop. They can still get through up here, and then we'll build a gate like up here. Or maybe even just across this. Because this oil pool here will act as a natural barrier as well. Okay, we need to start building some defenses now. But actually, in order to do that, we're going to need more sawmill production, which means apparently more cottages. So like I said, this is probably going to be our next neighborhood up here. Oh. Okay, we need to move our dudes. Where's my marine, or my soldier? It's a marine from StarCraft, come on. Okay, so this is really bad. This could be the end already. I mean, probably not, but it could be. So with the way this works is the infected move in. A single infected can turn a building with just a couple hits, like that. And when they do, more infected kind of pour out of the building. Now the good news is, I think there's few enough infected here that we're going to be able to clear them out before they wipe us. If that yellow bar gets down to the halfway mark, then we die. And we can repair all this. But this was my bad. I got distracted trying to figure out next building production, and two of them snuck in and cleared, just destroyed like everything. So we're going to do repair all. That's what this button does. You can also just hit X. Once it all gets repaired, we'll be fine. They're not going to keep spawning undead. It's just kind of a one-time. I think everyone in the building gets converted real quick, and then it switches back. Okay, we're basically back up to 100% again. Actually, what I was getting distracted by was I never put down the quarry, which we need to do before we work on more neighborhoods, because that's a much higher priority. So quarry's going to go here, so I can probably safely put more houses up here. We're going to do right about here. Not enough resources. Okay. I was afraid that sometimes they get rotated weird, and I think that they block, like here. Like, how are they supposed to access this any more than, you know what I mean? Like, this is not easily reachable. Oh, for Christ's sake. All right, we need to put up walls. You can't have my sawmill. All right, wall time. So here we can pick our first mayor. These give passive bonuses, or sometimes active. This guy will give us Spike's Trap, but only 10 of them early before we research them. She gives a permanent food supply bonus to hunter cottages. I think we know which one is better there. So we're doing a bit better on production, but I really need another. Do we have access to any more woods? I need a secondary. Okay, we are gonna have to expand just straight up here. All right, let's start putting down walls while we can. Gonna do 1, 2, 3. Technically, you don't need walls against the. Technically, you don't really need walls against the actual stone here, like overlapping like that. But I think it looks better. And then I'm just gonna put down another Tesla tower down here. No, it doesn't really expand the range much, but I just want to get this wall flush here. You'll notice I left a little gap there. That's for our wood gate and a archer tower. Oh, for crying out loud, they're down here again. We need to get these walls up stat. So this is my bad. I'm getting distracted talking to you guys. Normally I would not be taking this many hits. Come on, you guys can do it. Oh, Christ. I hate early game aggression. Okay. No, our colony is fine. Take it easy. Clearing our way out.
You again. I hope you're not wasting my time.
Walls are under attack.
God damn, they're up here too? Okay, that's fine. So once the walls are up, they'll start being distracted by those pretty easily, which is going to make this a lot better. But I can't put up more walls until I can't put up more walls until I clear out the zombies nearby. Just there's like proximity rules.
Aren't there other units to bother?
Good lord. So yeah, once we clear out the zombies and there's not any within a certain radius, we can do repair all, but then we need to repair the Tesla tower before we can repair these buildings because they're within its range. However, now we can plop down these walls. Like I said, I got the game yesterday, so forgive me if I make some mistakes here. So we want to go boom, boom. Oh, for Christ.
A new task.
Get out of here, Infected. I'm trying to wall this thing off here. There we go. God damn. So you can do diagonal walling, which is really important, but just know you can't put, you cannot put, what do you call them, gates like that. They can only go diagonally. Okay, so that side is pretty much secure. We can just take a single ranger, throw her up in the tower, and she should be able to at least notify us if there's anything we need to be worried about. We did lose one ranger in that last bout, which is a bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. Let's put down some more Tesla towers once we get everything repaired here. I need to extend this range some more because I want to put, I want to get as much expansion opportunity out of this as possible. You'll notice that real estate is one of the #1 resources in this game. It's kind of interesting. Not something I've had to necessarily be worried about in other RTSs in the past. Let's throw down another Tesla tower over here. I want to make this wall off a little bit easier. Let me drink something, sorry. My mouth is super dry. Okay, so once this Tesla tower's up, we can wall off over here. Once this one's up, we can wall off down here. Let's go ahead and... Ooh, it's diagonal. So, we're going to want to make a kind of like... thing like this. It's going to be like a door. Enemies too close? Let's get our soldier down here. Mr. Rifle. Or maybe shotgun? I think it's a rifle. Alright, there you go. Clear out any encroaching dead so we can get this fortified. And the way I'm going to do it is going to be kind of ugly, but I want to have a doorway on it, so it is what it is. We're just going to go like this. Do one of these. And like that. And then we're going to plop a tower just back here, which is actually kind of nice because then the tower can't be attacked directly till they take out either the walls or the gate, and he'll still be able to get in and out. In and out, excuse me. Alright. Now we've got that side walled off. Let's just take a peek up here. Looks like there's a dude coming up, but we should be fine. Alright, so we need to get down here and place more wood walls. And let's think about the gate placement first. I always tend to come back in and have to delete everything, so... I want this gate to be diagonal this way, and I think it can just kind of be like... Oof, this Tesla tower doesn't have quite the range I had hoped for, to be honest. Maybe it'd be better if I did... No. I want to have the gate like this, but we're just going to move it back a bit. We're going to move it to like here. Like this. I want a tower on this side, and I'm probably going to have another tower further down here. Like sneak it in way back here. Yeah, nice. Okay, I'm okay with that. And we'll see if we need to man both of those right away. And we're all out of wood, so this is what I was talking about where I can't wait. The first thing we do, so once I get this walled off up here, which actually, let's move somebody up there and start clearing it out because I imagine that's actually going to have a couple Zeds up here, but we wanna wall it off as far up as we can so we can take as much territory as possible. And on that note, we should probably build more Tesla towers, and on that note, we're probably gonna need more tents soon here. But food is the problem. Uh-oh. So that's why I moved these rangers down here. We're gonna just put one ranger on each location / tower, and they should be able to hold us pretty much against any small scale threats here, since we can auto repair all regardless of we don't like need workers to assign to it. Looks like we are okay here. We are going to need to build a barracks very soon. Also, God, what am I doing? I built this wood workshop and then completely forgot to use it. That's bad. So the wood workshop, like I said, it contains all the upgrades. It's vitally important, and I'm a big dummy for not giving it its time of day here. We're going to put down a hunter's shack if we can find a spot for it. The way these work is based on fertile ground and forests nearby, they produce food. Actually, don't think that's going to happen. But since we extended our, since we extended our Tesla range, we should be able to put down another fisherman's cottage, or maybe two, depending. Nah, it's just going to be one. There's no way. Yeah, that's okay. So again, that's the benefit of spacing those all out, and then when we expand further this way, I can basically surround this whole little lake here. Defense is looking good. Okay, should have enough wood now, yes, to finish this off. Let's put up, finally, a wall that's going to look normal. We're going to just put this right here. Yep. And we'll have a wood tower on this side, wood gate on this side, or wood wall on that side. There we go. Awesome. So, we are semi-secure. The wall off is sort of complete. Now we need to look at military production, as well as upgrading our population, which is key for military production. Also, how in the hell have I gotten this far without a quarry? I can't believe I kept forgetting to make it. I am sorry. Fortunately, we haven't really needed it yet, but we're going to very soon here. We need some more electricity, so we'll need to build a mill. We need the electricity so we can build some other stuff here. We need the electricity for the quarry, as well as some other things. So, we can build that here once we get a bit more wood income. Yeah, we're going to want to expand north first so that we can build some more sawmills along this tree line here. We need to ramp up that wood production so that we don't have to wait quite as much. Let's put down the sawmill up here. Boom. Or excuse me, the power mill. It's confusing. It's a mill that generates electricity. So that, windmill, I guess. So that is going to start adding to our power, which is down here, you can see. So just to explain this, if you're ever wanting at a glance to know what's going on, gold production. Most upgrades and stuff cost gold, which reminds me, let's make sure we're just researching something. Wood, that's building all wooden structures. Stone, that's for building stone structures, which we're going to be building our quarry for. Still can't afford it. Need more energy and wood. Just gotta wait. And then we have iron, which is used for metal buildings and other stuff later on in the tech tree, and then oil, which I've never actually gotten to use. And over here we have our sort of secondary resources, which are colonists, workers, available workers, to be clear, food production, current positive of 12, and then energy production. So yeah, we're going to need to focus on all that stuff as we continue here, but the main thing is really going to be defenses and food. Because food, you tend to run out of space for gathering food pretty fast. Hopefully we can build some farms up in this green space, though. Alright. Sorry. Let's see, is this military thing quite ready? No, we need more workers. Alright, to get more workers, we're going to start using our first upgrade that I researched, which was the wooden cottage. This is what everyone should get right away, in my opinion, because the first bottleneck you're going to experience, if you don't have infinite land to expand on, is running out of space for neighborhoods, for residential housing. And that's where your workforce comes from, which is pretty important. However, upgrading is going to cost us a lot of electricity here, so we're going to need another mill pretty much as soon as possible. The game auto-saves, because your only option for saving is to save and quit. So, yeah. That said, though, we are now almost 25 minutes in, so I think that's going to do it for our first episode. I mean, we've got a basic base. It's all walled off. Before I let you go, I will wait for this last tick or two of the wood income so that we can get our quarry down, so I don't forget it next episode. But, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I really enjoy bringing you guys a lot of Hearthstone, but I actually play tons of different games, and something like this, which I haven't seen a ton of attention given to, just seems so cool. I don't want you guys to miss out on it. Plus, it's really fun for me to play and sort of explain to you. Yeah, I don't know. I really like real-time strategy games, and I'm sort of a fan of of tower defenses, so this mashup has been really enjoyable so far. Alright, let's see, can we put down the quarry yet? Yeah, that's the one thing to be aware of, though, is when you get a rough spawn like this, where you don't have access to a ton of wood right off the bat, it can be a bit slow going, but that's okay. Once this green bottom bar ticks, that'll be one round of income from this building. Boom. There we go. Now we can do quarry. Plop her down right there for maximum stone harvesting. You saw the green bubble include every bit of rock there, so we're just going to start seeing workers come in and out. and collecting stone for us, which we will need in the not-too-distant future. But for now, I'm going to have to let you guys go. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below so that I know. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.